Welcome back, sports fans. The fight is already over. If you missed it, you are out of luck. But the fight went 12 rounds, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable fight. Knockdown, drag out contenders here. We had the Tuareg beating up on the Tenere. And in fact, it came down to a judge's decision, 10-2. The Tuareg wins once again. What do you think, Carl?
Absolutely, absolutely, Chris. This is crazy. I mean, in fact, we have two of these right here behind us.
So that was my little intro to throw you off, and you just ran with it. I'm impressed, man.
Photo adventures is on the road.
Welcome back to Moto Photo Adventures, everybody. This is Chris and Carl. Carl is a guest on our show, and I'm apparently making all kinds of noises, so I will put this down. Welcome, Carl. It's great to see you. How are you?
Thanks. Hey, great, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Have you stopped buzzing yet?
Not yet. My ears are still ringing. The hands are vibrating.
Now, do you wear any kind of ear protection or no?
I will.
You will? Okay. But for the ride down from Hartsville, no big deal.
No, no.
And that was probably the longest stretch you've been on the Tuareg, right? Yours is brand
absolutely.
new.
It's brand new. Longest stretch, probably 80 miles, let's say, in total. And on the interstate, it was awesome. Cruise control. I wasn't planning on taking the interstate, but you know, that's the way it worked out. And it was just smooth. Close to my Harley and Indian that I had.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I didn't have the buffeting that everybody, and maybe that has to do with my new helmet.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
You know.
I noticed you got a helmet that matched the beautiful colors.
Couldn't help it. And they gave me a deal I couldn't refuse.
Yeah, so your Tuareg is the red, white, and blue. Is that kind of what jumped out at you? Is that why you chose that bike?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As far as the color, I had the Tuareg already in my mind. That's what I wanted, but the color scheme just jumped out at me.
So you're saying I picked the wrong color?
No, the wrong color would have been the yellow. Red's acceptable.
Careful, we're not alienating anybody here.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Yellow's good too.
We're just kidding. But I am impressed. I'd never actually seen the red, white, and blue one in person off of a showroom floor. And when you drove up, man, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Very, very nice.
Thank you.
And you didn't experience any backside discomfort?
No, actually, I have a cool cover on mine.
Yeah, tell me about that.
This is something I bought from actually a gentleman out of the UK, but it's called a cool cover. And it generates a little bit more airflow, so you don't get the, you know, the dreaded monkey butt.
It's a mesh material.
Mesh, yeah, and it's kind of spongy almost.
Right.
It gives and goes back into shape, and they say it keeps it much drier during a rainstorm or wet.
Keeps your crotch from getting wet.
Absolutely. So yeah, that worked out really well. Actually adds a little bit of meat to the seat and a little bit more cushion, so that worked out pretty well. And I'm planning on taking this one as soon as I can get some protection on it, is going off-road. So.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
So that's what you were waiting for, is the protection before you started doing some crazy stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice. Tell me a little bit, Carl, about your thought process with the Tuareg. What other bikes did you consider?
Tenere.
Yeah.
Also looked at even like a KLR 650, DR650.
The new model with the
fuel injection. And various other bikes in that kind of displacement range. I didn't want a big, you know, honking 1050 or something like that, 1000. I looked at the KTMs, but again, the 890 was just a little bit too big for what I wanted, a little bit too heavy.
Right.
That was the thing that really caught my eye about the Tuareg to start with, was the weight.
Right.
I was getting away from a big cruiser. It was just kind of too heavy, and so this one saves me about 400 pounds.
Yeah.
And gets me off-road, which is really my roots and where I wanted to go back to, is do some off-roading.
That's very cool. You have a good friend up there in Hartsville, Steve Roos, who's the other member of Moto Photo Adventures. He rides an Africa Twin. Did you get tempted by an Africa Twin?
No, just too big and heavy for me.
That's great. See, I'm picking your brain, but these are exactly the thoughts that I went through as well.
Oh, really?
I came from a CB500X, which is a much smaller bike, half the power, but it's basically the same exact weight. So I thought, wow, how could you go wrong? Get a bike that's the same exact weight, better suspension, better power, twice the power really.
Yeah, there's a lot of concerns, I guess, about dealer network and things like that, you know, but I mean, to me, every bike's going to have its issues. And I live kind of out in the country. I'm a half hour from Florence, South Carolina.
Right.
You know, but my dealer is about an hour and 15 minutes away, not a big deal.
Up in Charlotte, right?
Up in Charlotte,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
And the same for me, the closest dealer for me is Savannah. Some of our viewers have already seen me take my bike in for the first 600-mile tune-up, and they were fantastic. And it's like an hour and a half, hour and 45-minute drive. So, Southeast Motorsports, thanks guys, you were awesome.
I'm gonna have to go visit them.
But I've heard good reviews about the Charlotte folks as well, so you're in good hands either way, I think. In the context of the middleweight fight that we were just talking about, that is one of the negatives, is people talk about the dealer network, and potentially along with that, not as reliable as, let's say, the Tenere. So
Yeah,
those are
that's what you
the
hear.
2 rounds that Tuareg lost. Let's talk a little bit about the ones that Tuareg won. You've already talked about weight.
Yep.
It's about 4 pounds lighter than the Tenere. In addition, I found that the weight is distributed lower. You have a much lower center of gravity. That Tenere carries its weight really high. When I test rode it, and I've ridden 3 different ones, man, it felt top heavy.
Absolutely.
Did you test ride any or no?
I've heard that they are, but no, because they're just hard to find anywhere.
That is a problem. Yeah. What other advantages led you to the Tuareg?
The electronic goodies, I already talked about it, right? The cruise control.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, that is awesome.
It's unbelievable.
You might not have a chance to use it much off-road, but man, when you get on the road, having that cruise control is a game changer for me.
And we're talking electronics, not just the cruise control, and that's made possible because it's throttle by wire, and the Tenere still uses a physical wire. As well as the other one that I really was curious about and interested in was the new Honda Transalp. Problem with that is it's not available yet. And the Tenere, like you said, is hard to get. But the Transalp isn't ride-by-wire either. I'm like, why would you not include that?
Right, exactly.
But this has all of the different mappings, so you get, off-road mode, you get full control over your ABS, all kinds of advantages that you don't have with the Tenere. So this won the electronics package for sure. What else?
It's comfortable.
That is another good one. Yeah. Although it's definitely not like sitting on your Harley seat. The seat is wider than the Tenere, and the Tenere is like sitting on a 2x4. So I would agree this wins the comfort battle as well. For me personally, again, coming from the CB500X, biggest thing to me was the suspension.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable, and it's way better than the Tenere I found anyway. I'm not a lightweight guy, but the Tenere just seemed kind of wallowy when I was riding it.
Oh, really?
And this thing just seems on par, and it's completely adjustable, whereas the Tenere, you can't control it. You can't adjust it as much. It's pretty much set. But rebound and damping and all that stuff you can control front and back on this bike, which is amazing. Has an extra inch of suspension travel over the Tenere, and pretty much the exact same ground clearance, but gives you an extra inch. I don't know how they squeezed all this into this bike.
Right.
Horsepower is another round that this guy wins. It's like 4 horsepower, 4 or 5 more than the Tenere, even though the Tenere has 30 more displacement. What do we call that?
CCs.
What are CCs? Cubic centimeters. We're getting old.
Me?
I'm getting old. But yeah, so the Tenere actually has 30 more cc's of displacement, but the Tenere somehow, or the Tuareg somehow gets more horsepower. It's unbelievable.
Aprilia really did a great job with this bike.
I'm amazed. Now, I'm going to tell you my favorite thing about the Tuareg.
Which is?
This was, I don't get it, man. It's got tubeless tires.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a thing to you?
Yeah,
It's
It's
a big deal to me.
Absolutely. I didn't even really think about it, but you're right. That was one of the things that kind of pushed me towards a Tuareg.
Yeah. Our viewers have seen the crazy video where we did the Trans-American Trail, and Steve's sitting there on the side of the road. Luckily, it happened, near civilization, but he's got to take his whole wheel off and, push the chain to the side, take the inner tube out. Oh man, that just was painful to watch. And, you get a puncture in one of these, 15 minutes and you're done.
Try not to spoil the videos for me, will you? Because I started them, but I'm not to the wheel thing yet. So
Okay. That happens somewhere out in Colorado, I think.
Okay.
So you have a little bit of time until you get there. But you'll see pretty early on the one where I dropped the CB500X. So you'll see that one pretty early.
Hey, if you own a motorcycle, you're going to drop it. Oh, I know something, Chris.
Yeah. Yes,
right?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Air intake.
The air intake is so easy to access, and
Yeah.
it has that amazing growl. The engine just has this really great feel to it. It almost sounds like there's some kind of turbocharger up front.
Absolutely, yeah. You get and it's up high. You don't
Yeah.
really have to worry too much about fording those streams when you're off-road and those
Yeah.
kind of things, man. It's right here where you can see it, get to it, and keep the water out of it.
Absolutely. Another really cool part about the Tuareg over the Tenere is it's got slightly larger discs, so you have better braking power. So that was important to me. Safety is always a concern for me on a motorcycle. So I really appreciated knowing that I was going to have really good braking power.
Oh, and the electronics, the ABS and everything that's adjustable.
Yeah.
Again, another real feather in their cap for
Absolutely.
safety and being able to,
And it's so easy to access all those modes too, just a push of a button.
As you know, you can change your maps, of course, to off-road, individual, explore.
And you're pressing
And
this button to get
button.
that?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Some of the viewers may remember when I rode our friend Cheyenne's Tenere. Beautiful bike. If I was going to get a Tenere, I would set it up just like his with all the Camo ADV products. But it was so simple. It was like being on a dirt bike, from when you were a kid. So that's the only other advantage, I think, to the Tenere. But other than that, man, this Tuareg's just an unbelievable bike. So speaking of Cheyenne's bike, that was at the Palmetto ADV rally, and we rode a bunch of the Scar. Are you thinking about doing something like that?
Oh, absolutely. I think the Scar's on my list. And isn't there a rally, this Palmetto rally this spring?
Yeah.
Coming?
Yeah. This will be the third one.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I haven't been to one, obviously, but yeah, I would love to. So I'm going to find my way there as well.
Very good. You should. It's in March, Palmetto ADV rally, and we usually ride bits and pieces of the South Carolina Adventure Route, the sections through the Francis Marion Forest, which are beautiful, and I think the South Carolina Adventure Route would be a great first off-road adventure for you on this bike.
Oh, awesome.
But
Looking
thanks,
forward
man.
to it.
I really appreciate you coming out,
Thank
bringing
you.
your beautiful Tuareg to hang out with mine.
Your beautiful Tuareg.
Have you named yours yet?
No, I have not.
You have to think about it.
I am thinking about it, but I don't know, can I use a person?
You can. You can do whatever you want.
Maybe like Sophia or Sophia Loren, Italian bike
Italian?
or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I went with Sahara. Tuareg is a nomadic group of people in the Saharan Desert region of Africa, and I was born and raised in Africa, so that kind of just fit for me. It
Absolutely.
took a while. We went through a lot of different thoughts and ideas, but Sahara, just when it landed, it was like, that's it. Give it some time, and yeah, eventually it'll get to you, and you're like, yeah, that's going to be the name. But
Well, thanks, yeah.
listen, everybody, thanks again for watching. It's been a fantastic experience to finally meet Carl. We've been chatting and going back and forth and sharing ideas and talking about our bikes and our enthusiasm for this new machine. And it's just a real pleasure to finally meet him, and I appreciate him coming and being on the channel. Stick around, we got lots of great new Tuareg videos coming. In fact, we're going to be doing some modifications today. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you want to see some of those other modifications that we're going to be doing to our bikes.